If you are over 60, I want you to stop what you are doing right now and look closely at your arms. Stretch one arm out straight in front of you, turn your palm facing upward, and use your other hand to gently pinch the skin on the back of your arm or just above your elbow. What happens when you let go? Does the skin snap back instantly into place, tight and smooth, or does it hesitate for a second or two, leaving a slight wrinkle or a slow-moving ridge that takes its time disappearing? Most people over 60 believe that loose, sagging, or changing skin on their arms is simply an unavoidable tax we pay to the clock. They think it is just a natural part of growing older, or perhaps a sign that they have gained a little extra weight around the midsection that has traveled down to their limbs. But what if I told you that is not what I am seeing in my patients at all? What if this simple 5-minute arm test is actually a direct window into a hidden health problem occurring deep inside your internal organs, long before any routine blood work or physical examination flags a concern? There is a fascinating and deeply misunderstood biological mechanism connecting the strength, elasticity, and texture of your limbs to your systemic vitality. And it is something that doctors rarely have the time to explain during a rushed 15-minute office visit. This change in your arms isn't just about appearance, it is an early physical indicator of how your body is handling hydration, protein synthesis, and peripheral blood flow as the years go by. Most people completely ignore this sign, assuming it is merely a cosmetic nuisance that can be covered up with long sleeves or light jackets. What most people don't realize is that beneath that surface layer of skin, there is something deeper happening within your circulatory and metabolic systems. Your extremities are essentially trying to broadcast a message about your internal cellular environment, acting as an early warning system for your overall health. By building a bridge of curiosity and understanding around what your arms are trying to tell you, we can uncover vital clues about your metabolism changes, your muscle preservation, and your long-term independence after 60. But before we fully unpack exactly what that pinched skin means for your internal organs, we have to look at why this area of the body is so uniquely sensitive to internal shifts. Many aging adults notice that no matter how many lotions they apply or how carefully they protect themselves from the sun, the skin on their forearms and triceps continues to thin and lose its structural integrity. They find themselves wondering why their legs or their torso don't seem to change in quite the same way. The mystery deepens when you realize that this specific pattern of tissue softening often coincides with other subtle changes, like waking up with a slightly dry mouth, feeling a bit more fatigued in the late afternoon, or noticing that minor bruises take weeks to fade away completely. There is an intricate chain reaction occurring inside your cardiovascular and musculoskeletal systems that links all of these experiences together. And understanding this connection is the absolute first step toward aging well. Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Vance. Over the years, I've had countless conversations with adults over 60, 70, and beyond who believed that their bodies were simply giving up on them. They sit across from me in my clinic, look down at their hands and arms, and tell me that they feel a sense of quiet frustration. They notice that they are losing their muscle strength, that opening a tight jar has become an exhausting chore, or that their balance feels just a little bit more unsteady when they step off a curb on a windy afternoon. They assume these changes are completely disconnected from one another and that they just have to live with the decline. But one thing I've noticed again and again in my experience is that the human body always speaks in a unified language. The body often whispers before it screams, and the subtle changing texture of your arm tissue is one of those profound whispers that deserves our full, compassionate attention. Today, we are going to dive deep into the hidden biological causes behind this sign, look at real-life stories of patients who turned their vitality around, and explore simple, low-cost, home-based steps that may help support your longevity and physical strength starting this very week. When I sit down with someone in their 70s who is noticing that their arm skin feels unusually thin, dry, or loose, we don't just talk about superficial solutions. We look at what is happening beneath the surface, specifically within a biological process called protein degradation, and the natural loss of muscle tissue, which the medical community refers to as sarcopenia. To make this easy to understand, imagine your body as a beautifully constructed house that requires constant daily maintenance. When you are in your 20s and 30s, your metabolism is highly efficient at taking the proteins you eat and turning them into strong muscle fibers, rich collagen chains, and elastic skin structures. But as we cross the threshold of 60, our digestive system matures, and our ability to extract and utilize those amino acids naturally begins to slow down. If we do not actively change our daily habits to counter this shift, the body makes an executive decision to pull amino acids away from non-essential areas like the skin and skeletal muscles of the arms to protect major life-sustaining organs like the heart and the liver. Now, this is where things get interesting because muscle loss and loose skin do not happen in a vacuum. They are intimately tied to our peripheral circulation and the health of our microvascular system, which is the vast network of microscopic blood vessels that deliver oxygen and hydration to the furthest extremities of our limbs. To visualize how this functions, think about how a simple garden watering system or a hose pressure system works. If the water pressure is strong and the hose is completely full, it remains firm, round, and perfectly structured from the faucet all the way to the nozzle. But if the pressure drops at the main source, or if there is a hidden block somewhere along the line, the furthest end of the hose becomes limp, deflated, and collapses in on itself. This is exactly what happens to the small blood vessels in your arms when your systemic circulation experiences a decline. Poor blood flow means your skin cells and muscle fibers are essentially being starved of the clean oxygen and moisture they require to stay plump, resilient, and structurally sound, causing the tissue to sag and lose its natural grip. What surprises many people is that this circulatory decline is frequently accelerated by a quiet, chronic hydration decline that sneaks up on aging adults without them ever realizing it. As our bodies mature, our brain's built-in thirst center naturally becomes less sensitive. You might go an entire morning or afternoon without drinking a single glass of water simply because your body stopped sending those strong, unmistakable signals that you need to hydrate. When your systemic water volume drops, your body automatically prioritizes your brain, kidneys, and lungs, pulling moisture away from your skin layers and connective tissues. The skin on your arms loses its natural turgor, which is its biological ability to bounce back after being stretched, leaving it looking paper-thin, fragile, and loose during that 5-minute pinch test. If you add a daily habit of multiple cups of caffeinated coffee or sugary sodas into the mix, you are inadvertently making it even harder for your cells to retain that vital internal moisture, directly impacting your senior health. But that is only part of the story because there is an invisible metabolic factor that plays a massive role in how our tissue ages after 60, and it relates directly to how our body processes energy. In recent years, researchers have found a profound connection between advanced glycation end products, which are harmful compounds that form when excess sugar molecules bind to proteins in your bloodstream, and the rapid breakdown of structural tissue. You can think of this process like caramelized sugar hardening on a piece of fruit. When blood sugar levels fluctuate or remain consistently high over many years due to metabolism changes, those sugar molecules latch onto the flexible collagen and elastin fibers in your skin and muscles, turning them stiff, brittle, and highly prone to sagging. This metabolic strain can contribute to hidden circulation problems and insulin resistance, making it incredibly difficult for your body to repair the very connective tissues that keep your arms feeling firm and functional. Most people don't realize that when they notice changes in their arm skin texture, they might also be seeing the early warning signs of a sluggish metabolism or poor cardiovascular support. To illustrate how these hidden biological factors manifest in real life, I often think of a patient named Arthur, a wonderful 71-year-old retired civil engineer who came to see me because he felt his daily stamina was slipping away. He sat down in my consultation room, sighed deeply, and stretched out his arms. He told me, "Dr. Vance, look at my arms. The skin is hanging loose, my muscles feel weak, and I don't feel like I have the strength to lift my grandchildren or work in my woodshop anymore without feeling completely wiped out by noon." Arthur assumed he just needed to accept his age and slow down his lifestyle, believing that his glory days of physical independence were simply behind him. But when we performed that simple 5-minute pinch test and evaluated his daily routine, the real cause became entirely clear. Arthur's loose arm skin and fading muscle strength were directly associated with a significant drop in his active skeletal muscle mass and a severe daily hydration deficit. Because he was barely eating enough high-quality protein and had stopped engaging in regular physical movement after his retirement, his body was essentially recycling his arm tissue to keep his core systems running. We sat down together and designed a holistic, gentle roadmap for his everyday life, focusing on structural support rather than restriction. Arthur committed to a simple routine of drinking a dedicated glass of water every few hours, distributing his protein evenly across his meals, and performing light stretching and gentle resistance movements at home. Within a few months, the change in his vitality was truly inspiring. While his skin still carried the natural wisdom of his 71 years, it felt noticeably firmer, his physical stamina doubled, and he returned to his woodshop with a profound sense of personal empowerment. I remember another patient named Margaret, a sharp 67-year-old grandmother who experienced a very similar realization about her senior health. Margaret loved spending her mornings tending to her vibrant backyard garden, but she began to notice that her grip strength was failing her, making it painful to carry her watering cans or prune her rose bushes. When she noticed the skin on her forearms becoming thin and easily bruised, she felt a wave of anxiety, worrying that this was the start of a permanent loss of her independence after 60. When we looked at her habits, we discovered that Margaret was living on a traditional tea and toast style diet, skipping substantial proteins at breakfast and lunch, and rarely drinking pure water throughout the day. By gently adjusting her nutrition and introducing short, daily habits to support her circulation, Margaret completely transformed her physical baseline. Her skin recovered its natural resilience, her joint discomfort minimized, and she was able to manage her garden completely unassisted, proving that the body remains beautifully responsive to proper care at any stage of life. If these subtle changes in your arms are ignored over a long period, the steady decline in muscle mass and tissue resilience can lead to an increased risk of broader physical challenges that impact your daily life. When peripheral circulation slows down and sarcopenia progresses unchecked, it doesn't just affect how your arms look in a short-sleeved shirt. It can contribute to a gradual reduction in your overall balance, joint mobility, and coordination. Many adults over 60 subconsciously respond to a loss of arm strength by avoiding lifting objects, reaching into high cabinets, or participating in physical activities, which unfortunately accelerates the cycle of muscle wasting and tissue stiffness. This sedentary pattern can eventually increase the risk of accidental slips or falls, making it much harder to protect yourself or maintain the personal freedom that allows you to drive your car, carry your own groceries, and care for your home safely. By recognizing the 5-minute arm test as a safe, non-invasive early warning signal, you can step out of worry and take proactive steps to protect your longevity before these larger issues ever develop. Fortunately, implementing simple, practical, home-based guidance into your daily routine can significantly support your tissue health and preserve your independence after 60 without requiring expensive equipment or strenuous workouts. The first and most foundational habit centers around a concept I call mindful protein distribution. To help your body maintain its structural architecture and prevent it from harvesting your muscles, you must ensure you are providing it with a steady supply of premium building blocks throughout the entire day. Instead of eating a very light breakfast and waiting until a heavy dinner to consume your protein, try spreading your intake evenly across your morning, afternoon, and evening meals. Focus on clean, easily digestible options like fresh eggs, wild-caught fish, lean poultry, Greek yogurt, or plant-based proteins like lentils and beans. This consistent dietary pattern signals your metabolism that it has plenty of raw materials for tissue repair, helping to keep your limbs strong and functional. Alongside your nutrition, we must actively address the internal pressure of your cells by establishing a structured daily hydration ritual. Since you cannot rely entirely on your body's perception of thirst as you age, making hydration an automatic, joyful part of your lifestyle is incredibly effective. Start your morning by drinking a warm, clean glass of water right when you wake up before you reach for your morning coffee or tea. Keep a beautiful, dedicated water pitcher or a clear glass on your kitchen counter where you can see it throughout the day, serving as a gentle visual reminder to take a few sips every hour. Many people notice that within just a few weeks of consistent, intentional hydration, the skin on their arms begins to look and feel noticeably more supple, their circulation improves, and that heavy morning brain fog begins to lift beautifully. To complement your nutrition and hydration, you can encourage blood flow and muscle strength through gentle, low-impact resistance movements and light stretching that you can easily perform right in your own living room. You do not need to lift heavy weights to signal your brain that your arm muscles are essential for your survival. Simple exercises that utilize your own body weight can produce remarkable benefits for your longevity and balance. For instance, while waiting for your morning kettle to boil or your breakfast to cook, You can stand facing your kitchen counter, place your hands firmly on the edge, step your feet back slightly, and perform 10 to 15 slow, controlled counter push-ups. This gentle movement safely engages the muscles in your chest, shoulders, and arms, encouraging a rush of oxygen-rich blood directly into your upper extremities. Daily consistency is the ultimate secret here. A short 5 to 10 minute daily movement routine is infinitely more beneficial for your systemic circulation than a strenuous, exhausting workout once a week. I want you to take a deep, calm, and reassuring breath and realize that your body possesses an extraordinary lifelong adaptability. Your anatomy is not your enemy, and getting older does not mean you are destined to lose your strength or your vitality. Every single day, your cells are listening to the signals, the movement, and the nutrients you choose to provide them. By viewing a simple physical sign like loose arm skin not as a source of fear, but as a friendly invitation from your internal organs to pay closer attention to your hydration and muscle preservation, you completely empower yourself. Taking control of these small, consistent lifestyle habits is the most powerful way to erect a beautiful fortress around your health, ensuring that your golden years are defined by absolute clarity, physical confidence, and independent joy. What changes have you noticed in your body after 60? Have you tried this 5-minute arm test yourself? And what did it reveal about your skin's resilience? Please leave a comment down below to share your personal thoughts, your everyday experiences, or any simple routines that have helped you stay active and strong. As I read through our community's discussions with deep gratitude and immense care, if you enjoy honest, clear, and supportive conversations about healthy aging and want to discover simple, evidence-aware ways to look after your body as you grow older, I would love to have you join our growing wellness family by subscribing to the channel. Please remember that this video is intended entirely for educational purposes and should never replace personalized medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment plans from your personal healthcare team. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me today. Protect your morning peace. Keep moving forward with hope. And I am Dr. Robert Vance, wishing you health, strength, and vitality until we meet again in our very next video.